The air was thick with smoke and silence. Human soldier Cole stepped carefully through the ruins of the alien outpost, holding his rifle tight. The battle had ended hours ago, but the place still smelled of fire, blood, and something strange fear. His boots crunched over broken glass and bits of alien metal. The ground was littered with broken machines and unmoving bodies. Cole's radio buzzed softly, but there was no voice. The rest of his team had moved forward, thinking the area was clear, but something wasn't right. Then he heard it, a soft sound like a cry, weak, faint, not like a beast, not like a soldier, a plea. Cole froze. He raised his weapon and followed the sound into a dark hallway. At the end was a heavy metal door, half melted. Behind it, the crying grew louder. It wasn't just pain, it was desperation. He kicked the door open. Inside, the small room was cold and empty except for one thing. A tall alien female lay in the corner, chained to the wall by her neck and wrists. Her silver skin was bruised and scratched. Her long white hair was dirty, stuck to her face. She looked up at him with glowing purple eyes and didn't flinch. Instead, she whispered, "Please, don't kill me." Cole lowered his gun slightly, shocked. She was clearly not a threat. Her body was weak. She couldn't even sit up. She continued, If you spare me, I can give you something powerful." Cole frowned. "What are you talking about?" "My body," she said softly, her voice shaking. "It was made to create strong children. My genes are mixed with warriors. If you let me live, I can give you powerful offspring." He stepped closer, confused and cautious. "You were a soldier?" "No," she said bitterly. "I was property, a breeder. They locked me here when the war began. I was meant to be used. But now I offer myself to you freely." Cole stared at her. Her body trembled. She wasn't lying. Her eyes weren't full of tricks, they were full of sadness. She didn't even try to escape. He looked at the chains. Heavy steel, glowing, with control runes. Someone wanted her caged. Someone wanted her alive. "Why would you offer this to a human?" He asked slowly. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Because humans show mercy. You didn't shoot me on sight. You're already different." Cole crouched in front of her. He took out his scanner. No weapons on her, no energy readings. Just a broken, scared alien woman. Still, something inside him said, "Don't trust her fully yet." He whispered, "What's your name?" "I was called Subject V," she said. "But my real name is Valtari." Cole stood thinking fast. If Command found out she was here, they'd take her. Maybe put her back in chains. Or worse. The military didn't care about mercy. Valtari looked into his eyes. "You can leave me here if you want, but they'll come back. They'll use me again, or they'll destroy me. Please." She leaned forward as far as the chain would allow. "If I must belong to someone, let it be someone who feels. Someone human." Cole took a deep breath. He wasn't a hero. He was just a soldier trying to survive. But this was wrong. He raised his plasma blade and slashed the chains. Valtari gasped as the metal links dropped. She fell forward, coughing. Cole caught her before she hit the floor. "You're free now," he said quietly. She looked up at him with wide eyes. Why did you save me?" "I don't know," he said. "But no one deserves to live like that." Valtari held his arm, her grip weak but warm. "I don't know what happens next, human. But if you protect me, I'll give you more than loyalty. I'll give you a legacy." Suddenly, a red light flashed on Cole's wrist communicator. A signal. Command was scanning the area. They were near. Valtari saw the light and pulled back in fear. "If they see me, they'll take me." Cole looked at her. Then at the exit, he made his choice. "Stay close," he said, grabbing her hand. "From now on, you're not just some subject." She looked confused. "Then what am I?" He looked her in the eyes and answered, "You're mine now. The snow was falling softly on the mountains of Soria-7. Cole had never liked this planet. It was cold, harsh, and full of hidden dangers. But now, as he dragged his heavy boots through the ice, one thing made this place even more complicated. The alien woman limping quietly behind him. She didn't complain. She didn't cry. She simply followed, barefoot and weak, her long hair blowing in the wind like silk threads. Her name was Valtari, and just hours ago, she had been chained in a dark room like an animal. Now she walked free, because of him. But Cole couldn't stop thinking, what did I just do? He glanced back. Valtari was shivering. Her arms were wrapped tightly around herself, her shoulders trembling. Her skin, that strange silver tone, looked even paler in the freezing wind. You okay back there? Cole asked, slowing down. Valtari nodded weakly. I'm trying. You should have stayed in the outpost. At least it was warm. I told you, they'll come for me. If I stay in one place, they'll find me again. Cole sighed. He didn't have a plan. His squad was long gone. Command hadn't replied. And now he was traveling through alien snowfields with a fugitive no one else wanted alive. But deep down, he didn't regret saving her. Later, they found an old crashed transport ship half buried in snow, but still standing. Inside, it was dry and quiet. The fire Cole made wasn't perfect, but it gave light and warmth. Valtari sat near the heat, legs tucked close. She didn't say much. Just watched the flames like they were magic. Cole tossed her a cloth blanket from his pack. Here, better than freezing. She looked surprised, then slowly pulled it over her shoulders. You've given me more kindness in one day, she whispered, than anyone else has in my whole life. Cole didn't reply. He wasn't good with words. He just stared into the fire, uncomfortable with praise. Valtari spoke again. Why did you help me? He shrugged. Didn't feel right leaving you there. You weren't a soldier. You weren't armed. You were suffering. She was quiet for a moment. Then softly she said, Do you know what it's like to be born for one purpose and hate it? Cole looked at her. She wasn't looking at him. She was staring into the flames. My creators mixed warrior genes into my body. She continued. My strength, my womb, my bones, all designed to make stronger children. They trained me like livestock, taught me how to offer myself to males chosen by others. But I never got to choose. Her voice cracked. Until today. Cole felt a tightness in his chest. She wasn't just a prisoner. She was someone who had never been seen as a person. Just a tool. I'm not here to use you, Cole said firmly. I didn't free you for that. Valtari smiled sadly. I know. That's what makes you different. The wind howled outside the ship. The cold pressed in like a silent enemy. Hours passed. Cole sat against the wall, arms crossed, trying to sleep. But then, he felt movement. He opened his eyes to find Valtari standing in front of him. She was shaking. Her lips slightly blue. She looked nervous, almost scared. Cole. She whispered, May I sit close to you? He blinked. What? I'm still so cold. I don't want to be alone in this storm. Cole hesitated, then nodded. She moved slowly, carefully, and sat beside him. Then leaned her body against his shoulder. Her skin was cold, but soft. Her breathing was fast, nervous. I don't mean to offend you, she said quietly. But in my culture, warmth is shared. It's how we survive harsh seasons. Cole didn't push her away. He just nodded. I get it. They sat in silence. Then Valtari whispered something unexpected. You freed me from chains, but part of me still feels tied to you. Cole looked at her confused. Tied how? She met his eyes. You didn't just save my life. You gave me something new, a choice. I don't know what happens next, but I choose to stay with you. Outside, the wind roared louder. But inside that broken ship, Two strangers, one human, one alien, sat together, sharing warmth not just in body, but in soul. In deep in the shadows, watching from a distant hill, red eyes blinked. A hunter had found their trail. A soft click echoed through the snowy silence, not loud, but deadly. High above, in the frozen hills, a pair of glowing red eyes locked onto a heat signal. The creature smiled beneath its helmet. Target acquired, Veltari escaped breeder unit. And beside her, a human soldier. Fool, the hunter muttered. Protecting her will cost you your life. He raised his long-range rifle and sent a silent signal to the others. We found her. Prepare to move in. Down below, inside the half-buried ship, Cole was boiling water over the fire when Veltari suddenly froze. Her hand dropped the metal cup. Cole, she whispered. We have to go. Now. He looked up. What? Why? I felt it. Her voice shook. They're here. The hunters. Cole stood quickly, grabbing his gear. How far? Too close. Her skin began to glow faintly, as if her fear triggered something ancient inside her. Cole looked at her closely. How do you know this? I was made to sense them. They're my jailers, Cole. They're trained to hunt me anywhere. They never stop. As they packed quickly, Veltari stopped. She grabbed his arm tightly. Cole, she said, if they find me, they won't just take me back. They'll kill you. No witnesses, no kindness. Cole met her eyes. Then we make sure they don't find us. She shook her head. You don't understand. They're not like you. They don't feel. They don't care. You helped me. They'll see that as betrayal. Cole gave a dry smile. Then they'll learn what it feels like to fight someone who does care. The two moved fast, leaving the crash site and heading deeper into the frozen forest. Snow crunched under their feet. Wind screamed between dead trees. Veltari's breathing was heavy. Her body still wasn't strong, but her mind was sharp. She paused and pointed to a nearby cave. There, we hide there. Just for a while. Inside the narrow cave, it was dark and quiet. They huddled in the shadows. Minutes passed like hours. Then, a sound. Crunch, crunch. Heavy footsteps outside. Cole raised his rifle. Veltari pressed a hand to his chest. No, if you shoot, they'll know where we are. Cole nodded. But his fingers didn't leave the trigger. Suddenly, a voice called out in the alien tongue. Veltari translated in a whisper. They're offering a deal. They'll let you live. If you give me back. Cole didn't answer. He stepped outside, rifle in hand, and shouted, She's not yours anymore. A plasma shot flew past his head, too close. He ducked behind a tree and returned fire. The forest lit up with blue and red blasts. From the cave, Veltari could only hear shouting, running, and the sound of trees exploding. She clenched her fists. Her heart pounded. Then, silence. She stepped out of the cave slowly, her legs shaking. Cole? She saw movement, and then, through the smoke, Cole appeared. Covered in snow and blood, but alive. Behind him, two alien hunters lay still in the snow. She ran to him, holding him tightly. You fought them. For me. He smiled weakly. Told you. I don't leave people behind. Veltari held him tighter. I'm not people. I'm a project. A mistake. Cole placed his hand on her cheek. No, you're mine. And I protect what's mine. But far above, in a hovering black ship, a cloaked figure watched them on a screen. This human, the figure said coldly. He is interfering with the program. Another voice replied, Should we eliminate him? The figure narrowed its eyes. No, not yet. Let him grow attached. Let him believe he's safe. A cruel smile spread across the figure's face. Then, we take everything back. Asterisk. The snow had turned red, not from sunset, but from blood. Cole sat beside the fire, his arm bleeding, eyes half shut from exhaustion. The wind howled outside their small shelter, an old scout pod buried under ice. Across from him, Veltari watched in silence. She held a piece of cloth in her hands, her fingers trembling, not from cold, but confusion. He bled for her. He killed. For her, he almost died. For her, she couldn't understand it. Veltari stood slowly and walked over to him. "You're injured." Cole nodded slightly. "I've had worse. Let me see it." He didn't argue. He was too tired to fight her concern. She peeled back the armor and looked at the wound, a deep gash from a plasma blade. She placed the cloth on it, pressing gently. Cole winced. "Ow, guess alien first aid hurts too." Veltari looked at him, her voice quiet. "You shouldn't have done this." "Done what?" "Fought them. Risked your life. For me." He gave a weak smile. "Didn't have much of a choice, did I?" "Yes, you did," she said, staring into his eyes. "You could have let them. Take me. You could have walked away." Cole was silent for a moment. Then he said, "Yeah, but I didn't." "Why?" she whispered. "You're just a human. I'm not even your kind. I'm something built, something controlled. You're someone," he said firmly. "You're you." "And that's enough." Veltari turned away. She couldn't look at him. Her chest felt heavy. "You don't understand," she whispered. "I wasn't made to be loved. I was made to be used, to produce strong children. I'm broken. That's why they locked me away." Cole stood up, holding his side. He walked toward her and gently took her hand. "You're not broken. You're free now. But what if freedom doesn't feel real?" she asked. "Then I'll help you feel it." The next morning, the world was white and still. Cole helped Veltari walk again. Her strength was returning, slowly. She was starting to eat better, move more confidently. But her mind still carried chains. They walked through the frozen valley in silence. Then Veltari stopped. "What if they come back?" she asked. "They will," Cole said simply. "And what will you do then? Keep fighting until you fall?" "I'll fight until you're safe." She turned to him. Her eyes were shining, confused and full of emotion. "Why do you care so much? What am I to you?" He looked at her for a long time before answering. "You're someone who never had a choice. And I want to be the first person in your life who doesn't take something from you. I want to give you something." "What?" "Freedom, respect, a future." Later that night, Veltari sat beside him under the stars. The cold sky was clear, and distant moons glowed like silent watchers. She leaned her head on his shoulder. "I never asked for this," she whispered. "I know. But I think I'm glad it happened." Cole smiled softly. Veltari closed her eyes. "You make me feel alive, like I'm not a tool. Like I'm not just some alien woman with special genes." "You're not," he said. "You're Veltari. And you're safe with me." Suddenly, her body TNSED. Cole looked at her. "What is it?" She stood up slowly, her hands glowing faintly. "I feel something," she said. "Something inside me. Waking up. What do you mean?" I think the part of me they tried to suppress is starting to break free." Cole stood beside her, alert. "Is that good or bad?" Veltari looked at her hands, glowing brighter. "I don't know yet." Far away, on a dark space station orbiting a dead star, a scientist stared at a screen. "She's awakening," he said with fear. "It's too early. She wasn't supposed to activate without command input." Another voice growled. "Send the full retrieval team. This time. Bring her back dead or alive." The emergency beacon blinked like a dying heartbeat. One press of the red button, and a rescue signal would shoot across the stars. Help would come. A ship, a team, safety. Cole stared at the small device in his hand. It felt heavier than any weapon he'd ever carried. Behind him, Veltari stood in silence, her breath visible in the cold air. She had seen the beacon. She knew what it meant, and she was afraid. "Are you going to use it?" she asked softly. Cole didn't answer. His thumb hovered over the button. "If you call them," she whispered, "they'll take me. I won't be yours anymore." The wind outside screamed, as if warning them both. Hours earlier, they had found an old satellite shack deep in the ice hills. Inside, it was warm barely and had working systems, including the beacon. It was the first real connection to the outside world since Cole had gone silent. Now, standing in front of it, Cole felt something strange. He didn't want to go back. Not without her. But if he didn't call for help soon, they'd both die in this frozen wilderness. "I could lie," he said finally. "Say I'm alone." Valtari shook her head. "They'll scan. They'll know. I was part of their breeding program, Cole. They tracked me like cargo. If I go back, I'll never see you again." Cole clenched his jaw. "There has to be a way." "There isn't," she cut in. "To them, I'm not a person. I'm a tool, a body, a container for future warriors." She stepped closer, her voice breaking. "But with you, I feel real." "You see me." Cole turned away. He had to think. He had to breathe. He stepped outside into the snow, letting the cold slap his face. Above him, the night sky burned with stars. He thought of the soldiers who might answer the beacon. He thought of the safety they could bring. Warm food, medical care, a warm bed, but none of it mattered. If Valtari was taken in chains again, his hands shook not from cold, but from the weight of his choice. Inside the shack, Valtari sat alone. She looked at her hands, still faintly glowing from her awakening powers. She didn't know how to control them yet, but she could feel something inside, something angry, something alive. She didn't want to become a weapon, she just wanted to be his. When Cole came back inside, his face was hard with decision. "I'm not pressing it," he said quietly. "We're not calling for help." Valtari's eyes filled with tears. "You'd stay out here, for me?" He walked over and knelt in front of her. "You're worth more than safety. You're worth freedom." She placed her forehead gently against his. "If we survive this, Cole, I'll give you more than children. I'll give you everything." Just then, a blaring alarm echoed from the shack's console. Cole jumped up. Lights on the screen turned red. "What is it?" Valtari asked, standing quickly. Cole stared at the screen. "They found us. Someone picked up the beacon before I could shut it down." Valtari's eyes widened. "No, they're coming." Cole grabbed his rifle. "Then we make them regret it." Valtari stepped beside him. "If they take me, they'll erase my mind. Make me forget you. Forget all of this." He looked at her. And in that moment, something unspoken passed between them. A silent promise. He reached for her hand. "Then I'll die before I let them touch you again." Far above, in the blackness of space, a sleek black ship cut through the sky. Inside, a commander smiled as the signal grew stronger. "She's there," he said, "and she's not alone." "Permission to destroy the human?" a soldier asked. The commander paused. "Not yet," he said coldly. "Let him watch. Let him feel what it's like to lose what he tried to protect." Asterisk. The sky cracked open with fire. A burning ship roared through the clouds, shaking the icy ground as it descended. Snow flew in all directions, trees bent, animals scattered. Inside the old shack, Cole grabbed Valtari and pulled her to the ground. As the walls trembled, "They're here," he growled. Valtari's eyes flashed with fear and something else. A strange warmth began to build in her chest, like a sleeping beast waking up. "No more running," she whispered. Cole looked at her. "What do you mean?" Valtari stood up slowly, her body glowing faintly. "They chased me all my life. Locked me in cages, used me like a tool." She clenched her fists. "But now, I'm done hiding." The enemy ship landed like a black claw on the ice. Its doors opened with a hiss, and out stepped 5 armored soldiers, tall and silent, their eyes glowing red. Behind them walked the commander, tall, cold, and dressed in sharp black armor. He held a control device in his hand, its screen flashing Veltari's genetic code. "She's close," he said. "And the human is with her," he smiled cruelly. "Kill him. Bring her back alive." Cole took a deep breath as he loaded his rifle. Veltari stepped beside him. Her body shimmered like moonlight, her hair floating slightly, as if touched by unseen energy. "You need to get out of here," Cole said. Veltari shook her head. "If they take me, I'll lose myself. My mind. My soul." Her voice became calm but cold. "I won't let that happen." Suddenly, the air around her pulsed. A gust of wind burst from her body without warning. Cole stumbled back. "What was that?" "I don't know," she whispered. "Something inside me is waking up." The soldiers marched through the forest, their scanners tracking her every move. One raised his rifle only to be slammed back by an invisible force. Another screamed as the ground beneath him cracked and swallowed him whole. Veltari stood outside now, facing them with glowing eyes and wind swirling around her like a storm. She raised one hand, and the snow lifted into the air like a wave. "What is this?" The commander shouted. "Vel, single quotes TAR. I took a step forward. "This is the part of me you tried to bury." Cole watched in shock. Veltari wasn't just strong, she was terrifying, but not in a cruel way. In a beautiful way, like lightning. Like fire. The enemy opened fire. Cole aimed and returned shots, but now he wasn't fighting alone. Veltari raised both hands. The bullets bent mid-air, stopping inches before her skin dot, then dash with one shout. She sent them flying back. Two more. Soldiers collapsed, but it wasn't over. The commander activated the control device. Veltari screamed, falling to her knees. Her glow flickered like a dying star. "They still control me," she cried. Cole ran to her side. "Fight it." "I can't," she gasped. "It's too strong. Look at me." Cole shouted, holding her shoulders. "You're not theirs anymore." She looked into his eyes. Something clicked. The glow returned brighter, hotter. The control device exploded in the commander's hand. Veltari stood up again. Her voice was not a whisper. Now it was a roar. "I am not your property." The sky cracked again, not from ships but from her power. A shockwave blasted across the ground, sending the remaining soldiers flying. Even Cole had to shield his face from the energy dot when it faded. The snow was gone. The ship was broken. The forest was silent, and Veltari stood alone, glowing like a star. But then, she collapsed. Cole rushed to her side. "Veltari." She was breathing but weak. Her body shook. Her skin was too warm. "I used too much," she whispered. "I couldn't stop it." "Stay with me," he begged. "I'm scared, Cole. If I lose control again, I might hurt you too." He held her tightly. "Then I'll stay by your side, even if it kills me." Far above, on another ship orbiting the planet, a new voice whispered into a dark room. "She has awakened, and now the galaxy will fear what she truly is." The world was quiet again, but not in peace. It was the silence that follows after something great has broken. Cole sat in the snow, holding Veltari's unconscious body in his arms. Her skin, once glowing with energy, was now pale and cold. Her breathing was shallow. She had saved them, destroyed the hunters, freed herself. But now she was fading. Cole wiped the blood from his face and whispered, "You can't leave me now. Not after all this." No one answered. Only the wind whispered back. He carried her to the broken shack and placed her gently near the dying fire. Her body twitched, her lips moved. "Cole." "I'm here," he said quickly, grabbing her hand. Veltari's voice was weak. "Is it over?" He nodded. "The hunters are gone. You stopped them." She gave a tired smile. "Good." Her other hand rested on her belly. "Then, our child is safe." Cole's heart skipped. "What?" She opened her eyes just barely. I felt it after the fight. A heartbeat, small but real. He froze. You're... Yes, she whispered. We created life. Tears fell from Cole's eyes. He didn't even realize it. I don't care what you were made for, he said. This child isn't part of a plan. This is ours. Veltari smiled again, but weaker this time. Promise me something. Anything. If I don't make it. No, Cole cut her off. Don't say that. Promise me, she said firmly, her grip tightening. Raise our child with love. Show them the kindness you gave me. Cole kissed her hand. I swear it, but I'm not letting you die, not yet. He worked through the night using tech from the fallen enemy ship to create a makeshift healing pod. Hours passed. Snow fell again, and then a sound. Her heartbeat stronger. She lived. Days later, a rescue ship finally arrived. But it wasn't from command. It was from him. Cole had called in an old favor. Someone he trusted with his life. When the door opened, a woman in a gray coat stepped out. Well, damn, Cole, you've been busy, he smiled. Just get us off this ice rock. They carried Veltari into the ship. And for the first time in a long time, Cole allowed himself to breathe. Weeks passed. Veltari recovered. Slowly. Her powers were unstable but calming. And one morning, she walked out onto the balcony of a hidden human settlement, wrapped in warm cloth, and looked at the sunrise. Cole stood behind her. She turned to him. Is this what freedom feels like? He nodded. Yes, and it's only the beginning. She placed his hand over her belly. Then I'll raise this child in a world you helped build. A world where no one lives in chains. Elsewhere in the galaxy, a council of powerful leaders watched the reports. She survived, one said. She awakened, said another. And she bred with a human, growled the third. The leader of the group stood slowly. Then the bloodline has changed forever. Back on the quiet planet, Cole and Veltari sat beneath the stars, holding each other close. Do you think they'll come again? She asked. Maybe, he said. But next time, they won't be hunting a captive, she smiled. They'll be facing a queen and the man who dared to love her. Cole looked into her glowing eyes. You gave me a future, Veltari. Now I'll fight for yours.